Welcome to the Talk with Clads podcast. Your host is Katie Ann, an island girl on a journey with her guests to learn about their backgrounds, businesses, passions, experiences, life lessons, and wins. Come and laugh, cheer, learn, and plan with us. My friend, take some time to come and talk with Clads.
Do you want to provide a memorable experience at your event? Book Pin Bounce at 561-727-5488.
Pin Bounce offers bounce houses, cotton candy machines, tables, chairs, and other event services in Palm Beach County, Florida. We offer all you need in one place. Follow us on social media using @PinBounce, and to book your event, call us at 561-727-5488. Remember, we put the P in party with the Pin Bounce touch.
Go Pin Bounce!
Hello, world. Welcome to Talk with Clads. My name is Katie Ann, and I will be your host for today. We have a extra special guest in the house today. And she is also my former high school classmate, do we say we're alumni from Holy Childhood? Her name is Diana Stevens. Welcome, Diana.
Hey, world. How are you? Glad to be here.
We're so excited to have you today, Diana. So we have a little bit about Diana. Diana, as I said, I've known Diana since in the 1990s. We're not going to age ourselves, right? We're not going to age ourselves. So Diana has been an educator for 19 plus years. She has a undergrad in English and journalism. She has a master's of arts in peace studies and conflict resolution. And she also has a master's of education. So Diana, how did you go from having your undergrad in journalism to switching to educator, and now you're transitioning into immigration? So tell us a little bit about that, your background, and how that transition happened.
All right. Well, thank you for having me, Katie Ann. Good to be here. So we're both immigrants, and that is the heart of our story, the heart of our passion for what I do. Coming from Holy Childhood, we were taught after the battle, the reward. So the battle really starts with knowledge.
Yes.
Right? So I'm a global immigration consultant now because I have seen through education, through the students that have passed through my classroom in almost 20 plus years, a lot who has been immigrants and what that landscape is like for them and their families. So I've been committed, even though I've been in the background doing this work for all these years, to helping families achieve the goals of maneuvering and assimilating in American life, right? They want to evolve to have that American dream. So my passion comes from my personal experiences being an educator, being an immigrant, and I'm always eager to work with my customers because I understand their challenges firsthand. Most of their experiences are my experiences. And it's with that I absorb their stories, and then we evolve together, help them to grow in this community. So that's where my passion comes from. And through education, I've been able to give them the tools that they need to now have successful lives living in America.
So what are some common misconceptions people have about immigration law?
Well, people tend to think that immigration, it's easy. It's not an easy landscape to maneuver, right? People who are coming to America and seeking that land of opportunity feeling, they're leaving families behind. They're leaving generations, and sometimes they don't get to go back home. So that in itself, it's not an easy decision. Then take the complexities of U.S. immigration, the constant changes that between the laws, the administration who is in or who is not in, there are challenges. So it's not an easy landscape to maneuver. So getting plugged in is definitely important into what's happening currently in the trends and the changes, because it's constantly evolving. Another misconception is that undocumented individuals are abusing the system. Now, tell me, who leaves their country to come and make mischief? No, they're coming to build and create a life for themselves, right? A life for the next generation, to give them access and opportunities to things they didn't have growing up. So they're not here with the intention to abuse the system. And the last issue I'd like to point out is that the U.S. immigration system is majoritarily funded by the people who are seeking immigration access. They pay for this process. The government really doesn't fund it unless they're providing funding for humanitarian efforts, and that's a umbrella of immigration as well. So it's really important that people are clear as to the power of aligning themselves with the immigrant community, and that the immigrant community is here to strengthen this country and not weaken it.
Yeah. And I'm an immigrant myself. We're both from the wonderful, lovely paradise island called Jamaica. And there are many myths coming from Jamaica. I used to think, oh my God, the streets are just lined with gold and
easy.
It's a big old myth. So stop calling them begging for money, people. So are there any myths you frequently encounter in your practice? And when you address those myths, also tell us a little bit more the name of your practice and how long it's been in business, and what are the things that you're doing in your practice.
So my practice, Immi-jet LLC, is designed to meet those immigrants, whether it's within my Jamaican community or within my local community, because we do have a local space here in Lake Worth and West Palm Beach, and connect with those individuals who are either they're in the shadows and you're like, I want to get out of the shadows and be able to evolve my American dream, right? Move myself forward. Because immigrants are often on the outside looking in, people may think that they're a threat to this country, right? Whether they're from Jamaica or whether they're from the Middle East or other countries, they're here to take. No, they have embarked. Some of them walk here. I've had students tell me that they walk to America. Okay. And like, in my mind, walk where?
Yeah.
Right. That's not that the common person does not have that resilience to get up and walk towards even the small things, let alone something as big as coming to a country not knowing the language, right?
Yeah.
B, how to maneuver the systems of this country. So they are literally here to forge a path. So one of the ways that we in our business helps these individuals is we give them the tools. We equip them with the resources and plug them in to what's going to make that a reality for them. Because it's not an overnight process, Katie Ann.
No.
Immigration.
I've been through the process. So I know it
is a long and daunting process for most people. That takes years for some people. Years. So that's years of your life. You're in the shadows, living under the radar, making sure that you are still able to provide for yourself. And a lot of people have families they're taking care of back home.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. And those family members, they expect to be taken care of. And coming from our culture, we know that we're not going to let them down.
No.
You understand? So we have to make sure we're positioning our people on the right path, because there are ways to maneuver this system legally, right, to get the end result. So while you're making a contribution, you should be doing that in the right way. And so that's how we help individuals maneuver this space. In fact, when you look, most immigrants are the innovators in this country, right?
Yes.
They're not waiting for somebody to hand them something. Jamaicans don't believe in a handouts. They may call and beg you something, but best believe they're going to figure a way to make some happen for themselves. So we're here to present them with options to do that.
Yeah. And with that, as experts in your area, that you have to navigate the different changes in the immigration policies.
Right.
So how has recent changes in immigration policies affected individuals and families?
So you're right. Immigration is an evolving landscape. And if we look on a local level, before we even go to the federal level, in the state of Florida, the laws are not necessarily for immigrants. But do we have a lot of them here?
Yes.
Driving around on our streets, right, without proper documentation, right? Now, let's put ourselves in that mindset. You're on the streets. You don't know who you're around. If that's an immigrant and that's an undocumented immigrant, wouldn't you rather them be able to, A, take care of their families, work and provide for them in a way, instead of being unable to do that? But our laws that are here does not support that, right? A lot of them may not have the proper documentation to be driving on the streets, but yet still not stop them from going to get work. They're going to go to work faithfully.
Yeah.
Faithfully.
A lot of people like to exploit that too.
Exactly. And then you have those people who will exploit them. So you want to make sure that you're educating them, giving them those tools to say, hey, if you're employed, you can pay taxes. Eventually, your employer may be able to petition for you, right? There are pathways that are built within the immigration landscape for them to become a legal permanent resident, for them to eventually become a U.S. citizen. So you want to make sure that you are equipping the people within your community. They may be your neighbors. Somebody may rent them a room. So you want to make sure that who you are communing with really can be a positive contribution to your community, right? So the pathways that are available can change from administration to administration on a federal level, right? So we talk about Florida. But with every administration that comes in, they want to have an impact. They want to either shine a light or dim the light. But immigration is a space. People are going to continue to come America.
Yeah, it's built on immigration.
It will not
built on the back of immigrants.
Yes. And
literally,
that is exactly what people need to understand, right? Whether you're Jamaicans have been coming here. I'm sure we used to read these Claude McKay poems and all these things from all that time, right? In the Renaissance movement, Harlem Renaissance movement. So we know that Jamaicans are not new to coming to America. Them not gonna stop, right? So from one generation to the next, you'll hear about the legacies, right? And we want to continue that, though, with a positive light, right? We want our little island not just to shine for all of its glitz and glam that it has to offer, but the people that are coming here are definitely making positive contributions. And we want to encourage the families, hey, let us collectively come together and make other families be able to enjoy those things without the fear of being undocumented or the fear of not being able to provide and protect your family.
And then one of the things that I want to clarify, because a lot of times when, especially in the political arena right now, when people speak of immigrants, they speak of one demographic or one profile of what an immigrant looks like. And it's multifaceted because an immigrant, when you think of immigration, it's not just people of color.
No.
It's you do have people from Europe that are immigrants, and they're also facing the same battles that we are, but because they look different, I think it's more highlighted, more the minority groups.
I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, with this recent Ukraine issue, Russia war, I had a student that came from Ukraine, and I'm like, interesting, right? With ease, you didn't hear the stories of how he had to navigate. No, he just showed up one day, and you had to, of course, maneuver the language barriers, which other immigrant communities have, right?
Yes.
It is a plethora of countries that have humanitarian issues. When you look at the Haitian community, they're here too, right? They are also seeking, if it's not relief, but they want a pathway to make sure that they're able to provide for themselves and their families, right? They're adding value to our communities. So it is not just a one size fits all. Every culture is different and should be treated as such, should be respected in that way. And we want to make sure that we are mindful of, yes, the adults may be embarking on this journey, but the effects that immigration has on children. Right?
Yeah.
In our community, I don't know if you remember the barrel children, right?
I was one of them. I was definitely.
Listen, that in itself creates a lot of dynamic for these kids when their parents leave them a yard and understand, say, they must send out everything, but then me now going to school. You understand me? I've had kids who come in my classroom from Jamaica and them still can't read, and them they're high school, right? Yeah. So America's immigration policy does not want to necessarily separate those families, right? And they have in recent years taken that initiative to reunify families. And you want to make sure that they're able to access these new policies that are in place.
Yeah. And you referenced the Haitian population, and we're not highlighting them significantly.
No.
But I'm just going to use them as an example because I know that there was what was going on with the assassination of their president and the political conflicts and lack of government that they have right now, that the Biden administration passed what do you call it? Because this is your expertise, where he had a pathway for them to come, and that was a change.
So the family reunification issue. So, and it's not concentrated only for Haitians, people from Ecuador, Nicaragua, Venezuela. So when a country experiences, and this speaks to the humanitarian side of America, right? Because if we think of America, they want to help everybody, right? That's the mindset. So with this in mind, the family reunification parole is a pathway that helps to reunite families. Even so, when a country experiences, I don't know if you remember the earthquake in Haiti.
Yeah.
What did America do? They said, come, right? They created a way for these people to come here, to the families that are already here. They're established. So they're not taken. They're coming here, and families are here to receive them, to help them navigate the United States, right? The various things that are here. So it is important because these initiatives help to alleviate the issues that may arise because a kid may be left alone, right? The issues that may arise when that mother or father is here working and they don't have the documents to travel back and forth, you know?
You're listening to Talk with Clads. Find more resources online at cladsresources.com. Now back to the show with your host, Katie Ann.
So it's really important that if we're saying we're valuing families, we're valuing people, that we support initiatives like this, right?
Yeah, I agree. And with those updates and changes that our government creates, and it depends on the administration to
Absolutely.
allow them to come here, what are some of the most common challenges that immigrants face during the immigration process?
Oh, the backlog. Let's talk about that. The backlog in getting your paperwork done, right? So someone may send off their paperwork. You may hear that, oh, it's going to take on average 9 months. 9 months, paperwork gets lost. But I will say in recent years, and maybe we could contribute this to the COVID-19, right, pandemic, USCIS has taken the initiative to adopt new technological initiatives, which has somewhat alleviated or helped in how things are being processed. So it is really important that you stay abreast to the changes, right? Because every day there are new changes, whether it's with a policy, whether it's through the courts, or whether it's with an administration saying, this is the route we're going now. And when they mean now, policy change may take 30 days to go into effect. So it's really, really, really important that we understand we have to stay plugged into our community to get the message out.
And this is where your service actually comes in to help and to have them be proactive. Mm-hmm. So how are there proactive steps people can take to improve their chances of success?
It depends. It depends on the case that they have petitioned for. So if they are under a family-based immigration, it depends, because some individuals are qualified based on their various circumstances. And for you to, I would say preparation is key in our community. Make sure that you have all your documentation, right? Hold on to the piece of paper then.
Yeah.
And in today's, you don't even have to physically hold on to it. Take a picture of it, right? Store it on your phone. Have it somewhere where we can access that information. Because once you come into this country, them know you're there.
Yeah.
You may think you are hiding, but no, they know you are here. So make sure you are holding on and holding yourself accountable for your actions, right? You try to do the right thing, connect with the right resources and people, because you do have people that are in the space that manipulate and take advantage of people, right? Let's just call a thing, right? And already immigrants are facing challenges. That's why they came. So we don't want people to fall into those spaces. We want to make sure that we are supporting, we're preparing and educating. So I would say, hold on to your documentation, connect with community resources. And let's say you have family here that's willing to assist you in the process, then seek out the best pathway for them to do that. Right? Yeah. Let's say you're all alone. Seek a humanitarian pathway for you to do that. Let's say you are a professional. Back home, you were a nurse and you want to come here and explore pathways for that to be a reality. So do not sit in the shadows and be taken advantage of. Right? Don't enter into marriages that are not going to be serving you as a human being, right? No serious. Let's call it in, because some people we just get married to anybody, and then them life become a living hell.
So that's your diplomatic way of saying do not get married for papers, people.
Yes, for real. No, serious talk. Because some actions and people will say, "Oh, I'm a last hope." No, don't always think that is the end all be all.
All be all.
Right?
Yes.
That's why you get plugged in, get connected to those in your community who are able to provide this information.
Man, that's such wonderful advice to people who are navigating the immigration system. And I think it's a great time, Diane, for you to actually share your contact information so that you're saying navigating the system, but this is where you can also find me. So what's the best contact for you?
You can reach me by calling. That's easy, right? Everybody has access to a phone or Google Voice. That's okay. 561-317-3380 is my office number. And you can always find me on Instagram at IMMIJET at Immi-jet, or you could reach out to me via email. It would just be my name, Diana at immijet.co. So please get plugged in, get educated, make sure you are researching the pathways that can give you the American dream. There are a lot of ways, a lot of options. Don't look at your situation, be gloomed,
And think that
they can't access something, right?
So in terms of resources or even friends, actually, you mentioned COVID-19, and I really want to kind of step back a little bit on like the impact of COVID-19 on immigration, because you did say with the backlog, but COVID kind of gave them a little bit where they can go a little bit forward. So how has the COVID-19 pandemic influenced immigration processes and procedures?
So it's good that you brought that up, Katie, because here's the thing. During the pandemic, what was like the going term? Essential workers. So currently America is facing some hit to the essential workers.
Huge shortages.
Shortages, right? So typically a lot of people would think that agricultural workers were the only ones getting these work visas and such. But now they have opened up the landscape for workers. If you're nurses, whatever field that you're in that they consider an essential worker, they want you, right? So getting plugged into employers who are seeking your expertise. If you're a tech worker, because here goes innovation, right? We have to get ready for the unknown. So this is where, if you are an innovator in your space, if you are an educator, if you are tech, healthcare, not just agriculture, guys, you don't have to come only on the farm work program, right? You can actually be provided a pathway.
Yeah.
Okay. There is a pathway for you.
Yeah. And I think too, healthcare, when people think healthcare, they only think like hospital settings. You do have nurses in the agricultural sector. You have occupational nurses, you have therapists.
Yeah.
So you have tech people that work in the agriculture space. You have tech people that work in the depending on what sector of healthcare what space of healthcare you're in. It's so huge. And for someone that that's the space I operate in, I can testify that there is a huge, significant shortage of essential workers in that space.
Yeah. And what happens when we have these shortages, right? It can create instability, right? So the urgency for skilled, trained professionals is there, right? If you have a skill, if you've been doing something for 10 years and you're like, you know what? I would like to try doing that in America, right? There is a pathway for you. Don't just sit there and don't explore these pathways. Get plugged in, connect with people who can help you to navigate those spaces, because we are seeking people who can make a positive contribution.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And with COVID, you saw a lot of people also take a step back. They don't want to be in these spaces. So that's one of the reasons why that opened up. So with the, hey, therapy clinicians, I know it was the H-1B visas that an employer
H-2Bs.
H-2Bs that can
Yes.
sponsor you. So can you discuss any recent legal trends or developments in immigration law?
Well, I'll tell you, Katie, and you are cracking, because the Department of Homeland Security, in consultation with the Department of Labor, they just made available additional H-2B temporary non-agricultural worker visas. But they almost increased it twofold, because there is such a demand, right? So 2023, I believe it topped out at like 66,000. They've added like 60 something thousand more.
Oh,
right?
wow.
Because they're looking, the demand is there, right? So we have to make sure if we can tap into these areas. And then when you are coming to work, if you have a family, your family may be extended these same opportunities if you have your children, a spouse. So make sure that you are exploring what is available based on your needs, your family's needs. It's important that you get plugged into that. So that's one that's really big right now, those work visas. And there are other visas that are also untapped. They're not as explored as like a B1, B2, because people are not seeing the bigger picture, and they may not think that they want to come to America to live. Sometimes they just want to try it out. So they're like, oh, let me just visit. But if they really want to live here, don't be afraid to explore what those options are for yourself.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's talk about family-based immigration. What options are available for family-based immigration, and how does that process work?
Okay. So when it comes to family-based immigration, people have to be qualified. Like, you have to be a qualified practitioner. We know in our culture, we have this like one pot way of thinking. But when it comes to immigration, like, anybody can just go file for anybody because they're living in the same house. You have to be a qualified individual. You have to either be a mom filing for a child, right? Or a spouse filing for your partner. And the USCIS does recognize same-sex marriages. So please make sure that you have that qualification first before you start saying, I'm going to send for somebody. Right? So that's the key. But something else we have to keep in mind is the time frame. It's not an overnight. Nothing in USCIS is overnight. Even if they say we're going to expedite, and expediting costs additional fees, it's not overnight. So you have to make sure that whatever you're exploring for yourself and your family is not on a rush thing, the last minute thing. Make sure so whoever is working with you is giving you realistic timeline. Because
that's very important.
Yes, we are not working for USC, right? We work for people in our community, and we have to set those standards that USCIS march to the beat of their own drum based on which administration is in or not. Okay. So they have policies and regulations that they have to abide by. So it's really important that we're not setting unrealistic expectations.
Yeah. Yeah. And then, so the difference is, obviously, for the family-based immigration, you have to be related in somehow, be it through marriage or through blood, and having to be able to prove it.
Yeah.
And then
Absolutely.
with employment based immigration, and we kind of discussed it a little bit with the visas. How does employment-based immigration function, and what are the common pathways for professionals? Is it through the is it H2B?
H2B, H1, yes.
Yeah.
So currently the trend is with people who are advanced professionals. So those people who have an advanced degree, whether it's a master's degree and have been working in their fields for over 5 years, they can say, hey, someone did them hire me, I'm getting stay. May I work? May I pay my taxes? They can do an EB-NIW petition. The employer, if they see your value and they don't want to let you go, there is a pathway that they can petition for you. And now, considering all the changes with employment, the needs that are here, a lot more employers are exploring these options, right? But of course, sometimes employers get taken advantage of too, you know? So they too need to be mindful of exploring this option, because if the USCIS said I'm only give out 64,280 visa, that's all them off.
Yeah.
Right. And that's something that's with all categories. When there's a cap, there is a cap. That's why there are delays. That's why things sometimes don't move as efficiently through the pipeline, right? So it's really important that when an employer is putting in your petition, they are keeping on top of things. They're filing in a timely manner, right? They are presenting you to USCIS in a way that say, hey, we need you. What you have to offer a company is, without a shadow of a doubt, essential to keeping our company or accelerating our company. So it is really important that when you're exploring the employment-based immigration space, that those things are considered. And another aspect too of the employment-based is that some people can do a self-petition. Please get connected with people who are able to help you navigate that.
Yeah.
It's important.
So we've discussed family, we've discussed the employment side. So what about like refugees and asylum seekers? What are the key challenges faced by refugees and asylum seekers in the immigration process? How can individuals seeking refugee navigate the legal complexities?
Listen, people say a lot of things about America, but we know to take in people when they're going through a challenging time in their lives, whether it's through natural disasters, whether it's through instability in their home country, it creates a burden on everybody, right? But the USCIS says when you come into this country seeking asylum, if that's your intention, you have 1 year to let us know.
CLAD's resources and consulting values its customers. Our planner Footsteps to My Vision is a 13-month planner that can be used for 5 years. It walks you through SMART goals, SWOT analysis, action planning, and holds you accountable through 3 monthly check-ins. We work only with top quality materials, innovative designs, and verified suppliers, which are guaranteed to deliver to our high expectations, because when it comes to our customer satisfaction, there's no room for compromise. Made with high-quality PU leather and paper planner helps you focus on achieving your goals by giving you a sense of personal and professional satisfaction. Some of the amazing features of this product: Vision Board Planner, luxury pen, 8GB USB flash drive, wireless mouse, ultra-elegant packaging box, available in 5 stunning colors: black, red, gold, pink, navy blue. Material, PU leather. 13-month planner. Elastic band for easy handling. Our Footsteps to My Vision is available at Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, our website, and at Walmart. You may also follow us at www.cladsresources.com, Instagram, Clads Resources, Facebook, www.facebook.com/cladsresources/.
You're listening to Talk with Clads. Find more resources online at cladsresources.com. Now back to the show with your host, Katie Ann.
Right? So they give you the time. Please, please, please. If you know that that's your intention, make them know, no? Make them know. Now sit down there and pretend like, oh, you're still thinking about it. In your heart of heart, that you feel persecution and them threaten your family and you now go back there. You know, right? Or say, them shoot up the taxiway you did and go back there. You understand me? There are things that happen to people and they don't talk about these traumatic experiences. And so they don't necessarily understand that there is something in the system to help you. That's why it's called humanitarian, right? That's what asylum seekers are looking for. They're looking for a humanitarian relief. So whatever it is that traumatizing in your home country, whatever it is, seek that recourse, seek that relief by making sure you put that petition in within that 1 year time. Time matters. All right. Time matters. Don't sit there and make up stories or have people tell you, no, just deal with a bad treatment or do certain things that will be egregious to the system. You don't want to do that, right? You want to make sure that you're filing within that time frame. And there are tons of resources out there, Katie, and especially for asylum seekers and refugees. Tons of resources. Individuals should not get weary by the complexities, right? Just lock arms with people in your community who can help you navigate it, right? Collaborate with those individuals that can help to not just make this an experience that gets you to where you're trying to go, but inspire you and those in your community who are seeing that, oh, this may be a challenging experience, right? You want to make sure that you are plugged in to those resources, whether it is you're going to go to, they have certain hubs for certain communities that receive asylum seekers and help them navigate those spaces. But don't be afraid to connect with a global immigration specialist.
Yeah. I know you mentioned community. There's so much community resources out there, not only for asylum seekers, but they may specialize in immigration. So how can individuals find reliable information and assistance throughout their immigration journey?
So the USCIS has, and you can go to their website, uscis.gov. They have resources. They have what is called accredited representatives that are certified by them. They have the stamp of approval. They can tap into their networks as well. They don't have enough though.
Yeah.
They don't have enough to serve the people, right? So that's where, as a global immigration consultant, we help to bridge those gaps, right? Okay. We help to connect them to those integral things that is necessary for them to have a successful application, right? So it's really crucial that people access and connect to people in your community who are, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, I see this on TikTok, and please make sure that even though it's on TikTok, you vet the people you're being put in contact with. Okay. I cannot stress enough. I've even when you come into any space, whether it's education, immigration, right? Please make sure people are credentialed, people are plugging you up to the right resources, no backdoor dealings. Okay.
Yes.
You have to make sure that you're being plugged into the right people in the right places at the right time.
Yeah. There's so much misinformation out there that you really have to do your due diligence.
Due
Because
diligence.
in the end, you are the person that it affects. So you
Yeah.
have to do your due diligence too. So
Absolutely.
I want to talk about like success stories. Can you share any memorable success stories from your experience without
divulging personal information?
from
Oh
your
my goodness,
immigration
where
cases?
do I start? I can tell you. So when I've worked with families, and this is before I started this whole, let me go social media. I've been doing this work, but it was hard work for me. So when I connect with a family, how do I help them to evolve and realize that dream? Right. And I'll speak of a certain customer I've had for years. So talk about Medora husband, citizenship paperwork, file our papers, file for our children. I mean, no, her children have children. So
Yeah.
decades. And I'm like, man, when I see these kids now, and you're able to look back and say you had a role in them living the life they're living now, right? That always warms my heart. When I look, and some of my clients or customers are older people who they want, like, probably married to them long time sweetheart, but me don't want to go through the stress. And me can't sit down and fill out all that paperwork. And when they step to me and they express what it is that they would like, and to see how their families are strong and growing. When somebody says, I meet one guy, but I don't know if me say file female, I know how to do that, I say, okay, let's start with a K1, right? So when you're able to help people strategize and navigate their path within this country, it is constantly rewarding. Listen, when I'm ready for buy a house, what do you think them call? when I'm ready to buy a house, what do you think them call? It's like at every juncture of my customers' experience, they always reach out. Miss D, you want to know, say so and so and so. And that is very fulfilling. Right?
Man.
That is very fulfilling. When decisions that are life changing, you understand me? I mean, sometimes it's been a rough road, but especially for customers whose documents take long. You understand me? And you dot all your I's, you cross all your T's, but the system doesn't move when you want it to move. So the relationships are not just an overnight thing. It's decades. Some of them even become family because them things that made them a family.
Oh, well, that's wonderful. Absolutely. I'm sure you've been impactful. Like if they're going to say someone that's been impactful in my life, they're going to think of you. So I'm going to ask you this question then, because I think it's so applicable now. Who are if you were to name 3 people, dead or alive, that has been the most impactful to you in your life, who would be those people and why?
Oh my God. Ooh. Why did you go there, girl? So I'll tell you, my grandmother, Ina Carnegie, let me tell you, hopefully you're able to understand that in Jamaica, when people come in your yard and them feel like say them a family, them want to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner in your yard because that's just who or how they see they're connected to you.
Yeah.
She taught me the value of treating people in that way. And that will never leave me. I hope that everybody whose life I have touched, come across, that they see me as that person. Because when my grandmother, she worked hard. You understand? She worked hard, but she never stopped caring for those people in our community. She make everybody, whether you were son, a daughter, a grandson, everybody could have come and Miss Ina yard. You understand? And be plugged in and connected. She not left out nobody.
Yes.
And it's with that heart that I take to do the work that I do. Whether I show up in my classroom and my students can say, Miss Stevens, what you have to eat today? Give me some of your snack. I can't say no, right? Whether it is that I'm going to really understand, but I don't want to talk out. I don't want to tell about someone to understand something. I coach them through believing that they can do something, right? She set that foundation. The next person would be my mother.
Mm.
When my mom came to America, you know, things that should come in before my mom would not leave us in Jamaica. We all got through, and she's like, you know, let's till I graduate, come and pay all my money for all the child. So, Kenyan, I graduated Holy Childhood June 30th. And you know how graduation is like an all-day affair.
Yes.
You know, very next morning, I was on a flight leaving Jamaica.
Oh, so she made sure that
very next morning.
Yeah.
Because the visa didn't run out.
So she made sure that, listen, you finish that journey, and then the next chapter, one chapter close, then the next chapter open up.
And that, I'll tell you, is my mother. My mother, she made sure whatever you start, you finish. You finish. And to this day, I can't tell people enough. I mean, I know how am I gonna do it if anything happens to my mother. I know.
Oh my God.
I'm ready. The Lord take care of her. You hear me?
Yeah.
She really has. When she got here, Kadian, we came to our family, but we never know nothing. We left high school. Them never know if they say, oh, this is how you get into college. The information wasn't there. So due to our experience, we now, as a family, we have a company that helps people to navigate when them come here, what to do.
Yeah, based on your own experiences.
Yes, because we had to get into school, right? And me, so I'm not go back to high school. Me done with high school already. Me don't want to do that. And so she had to figure out a way to provide for what I needed at that time, right? And made that happen for us. I remember I know she come here with 2 picnic. That's it. Close to my back, 2 picnic. That's it. Mm-hmm. You know, within 2 years, my mother purchased her house. Oh, you hear me? People don't understand that to navigate this system, it is possible. My mother still has her house to this day, 28 years later. Thank you, Jesus. Okay? Mm-hmm. And I tell people, I know the amount of money I make.
Resilience too.
Listen, it's not the amount of money you make. It's the vision you have for your family. And that's what my mother taught me. Because if you don't have vision, and if you don't have a plan to execute that vision, it's going to be a rough road you travel.
I absolutely believe in the having that visualization and having that vision, create your SMART goals and move along. Move along with those steps.
The Bible tells us, write the vision and make it plain.
Yes. Yes.
You understand? So those are just tenets in my lived experience that to this day, I don't let go of those things. My family is like rock for me. My family is my rock. My sister.
So is that your third person? Is that your third person? Is your sister?
My third person, yes.
And then I happen to know your sister.
Listen, I'm talk about cheerleader. Because we all need one of those.
Yes,
we all need one of those, right?
Yes,
we all need one of those. I'm telling you, sometimes it's like you get burnt. You get burnt by giving so much, pouring into everyone you come across, and you don't have nothing else to give. But I'm going to tell you something, my little sister, cheer me on.
Yeah.
Just cheer me on. And a lot of times, Kadian, we have to take a step back and show those people who have been our day ones, that we are there for them. We are there
Yeah.
for them. We are all
Give them
in
their
it to
flowers
win it.
it's we have to appreciate them while they're here and
Yeah.
not at their funerals. We're saying that reading this. Oh, what is it? I forget the word. I just went blank.
Eulogy.
Eulogy. This
Yeah.
person was such. No, give them their flowers while they're here. I
Right now.
appreciate you. Thank
Right
you.
now.
You've been so impactful in my life. So, man, I know your sister. I know she's your cheerleader. So I'm listening. I was like, oh wow.
Yes, yes. Let me tell you something, Katie Ann. I've had a lot. Let me tell you, when people say, "Oh, what's your immigration story?" The stories vary based on time and place I was in my life. There's some stories that I'll tell you. I remember when I met a mom who could not go to our daughter's funeral.
Mm.
You understand me? I'm telling you, the stories are far and wide. Some of them happy, some of them not so happy. You can imagine your one daughter.
No, I cannot because I
You
have one
understand
daughter.
me?
Yeah.
When I tell people I've been doing this work, I didn't see this work. Do something to help the other person because they need me in that moment and I can. Right? So it's more of serving. That's what it's more of serving the people who come across, because not everybody I'm going to work with, right? I'm
Mhm.
real like that. But if I know I can be of service to you and truly change your life, come see me. Come
Yes,
see me,
yes.
right? Come see me.
So with this we reached the end of the program, and I like to ask my guests this question, because you can ask all the questions that you think you want everyone to hear. I want the listeners to hear. And I may have missed that one special question, like, oh man, she didn't even ask me that question. And I want to answer this question. So if there's one question that you could ask that you wanted to ask that I did not ask today, what would that question be? And not only the question, but what is the answer to that question?
Oh my gosh. Okay, Katie Ann. You never asked me the legacy what may I try for create.
Oh my goodness, legacy. All right.
Listen,
What is
honey.
the legacy that you want to create?
Oh, Katie Ann. When I think about the multiple of things that I do, people may say, "Oh, you're just a teacher."
Mm.
No, honey. I train people to fully show up to be their authentic selves. I train people to fully show up how to be their authentic self. Whether it is that you can't read, whether it is that you're in an abusive situation and you don't know how to navigate that, whether it is that there is just something burning in your soul that you want to achieve and you don't know the first steps to take, they always call me. And I want people to remember, not just at my funeral, to remember that pay it forward. Pay it forward.
So you want your legacy to be paid forward. Man, as you mentioned legacy, I'm like thinking about Maslow's theory of need. I'm like, oh, Diana's at the self-actualization stage of life where you have your basic needs, but like, what's my path? What's my footprint? When people think of me when I'm no longer here, when my children think of me of when I'm no longer here, and you're saying I want to make sure I paid it forward. And when you think of me, pay it forward. Pay it forward. And listen, as an immigrant and now providing immigration services, I definitely believe that you are paying it forward. So,
Ma'am.
with that, again, how can our listeners get in contact with you?
Feel free to look me up on Instagram at Immi-jet, IMMIJET, or call me 561-317-3380.
Man, Diana, it was a pleasure. Absolute
Same.
pleasure. And I am sure that the audience is diverse, all backgrounds. They have learned so much from you today. And I'm sure I'll have some follow-up questions and would love to have you on the program again because I feel like I could spend hours chatting with you.
Oh,
You're
absolutely.
passionate about what you do and you've been an educator for such a long time. Like, oh man, she speaks the way she explains it. It's so easy to understand. So thank you so much for being a part of this podcast and sharing your journey and speaking about the services that you offer. And I am sure we will chat again. Thank you everyone for listening and taking some time to talk with Clads. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening. Find us on social media at Clads Resources and online at www.cladsresources.com. Our planner, Footsteps to My Vision, is also located on our website or on Facebook, Instagram, or Amazon. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share, and check back weekly for new episodes. Until next time, keep creating your footpath to your vision.